All right, well, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is, of course, Conversations with the Crawleys, where we have conversations about faith, family relationships, and a whole host of other topics, including recaps of some of our favorite shows. And this one is dedicated to season 5, y'all. They made it to the 5th season of Ready to Love DC edition. All right, so if this is content that you enjoy, make sure you're doing what? Hit that subscribe button, hit like, hit the bell for notifications, and share. Right. All right, real quick, we want to shout out, we put out in one of our last videos, we put out a kind of just a call to see what folks might come up with as far as name for the community that we're building here. And there's a lot of things that definitely make sure you're staying connected, because we've got some things that we've got planned coming very shortly. But shout out to, I think we decided on the one submitted by MG Bye. I don't know what that means, but let us know in the comments if that's you, what that stands for, if that's anything. But you said my creative side came up with a few names you might like, and of those, we liked the KT Squad.
Yep, KT Squad.
So KT Squad seems to be the official designation for the community. So what's up, KT Squad? Good to see you all, have y'all in here. All right, let's jump into it. We've got the 5th season, as we mentioned, of Ready to Love, which is on the OWN network. Premise of the show, quite simply, is you have 20 people, 10 men, 10 women, that are saying that they're ready to love. What makes this show a little different is that these are not 20-year-olds. These are not fresh out of high school, fresh out of college. These are grown folks.
They're grown folks with kids.
With kids. Some of them been married before. They got jobs.
Businesses.
Age range is typically, what, from 30 to 50? I think 52 is the oldest that we ever saw on the show.
Yes.
So it's for us, it's very good. I like it because it does bring a different perspective than some of the other dating shows. And of course, it's a bunch of chocolate people.
Okay. And chocolate people love too. So
yes. And it's this year it's in DC.
Correct.
Which
we
ain't gonna say that. My wife is from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area.
Yes.
She's from the DMV area. Shout out to Chicken Wings and Mambo Sauce.
Shout out to Lago.
Shout out to Go-Go Music. All right, so let's talk about, first of all, it was hosted, of course, by Tommy. And he had a familiar couple of faces from previous season, from last season, actually.
Right, I'm about to say just last season.
Yeah. Liz and Jason.
Yep.
Who, at this point...
My understanding, you keep saying they're broken up. Is that true?
Well, yeah, because on the casting special, they promote them as a success story, because yes, they were one of the couples that did say that they wanted to continue on and did continue on for a while. However,
for a while. Long as you're gone 2 weeks after,
right?
You're good. It's a success. Okay.
As long as there's no drama of y'all, cussing each other out at the reunion special. However, if you look at Instagram, and of course we know Instagram is life, right?
Yeah, it tells all, I guess.
But according to Instagram, they have unfollowed each other. Don't know if y'all saw that or know that, but they have unfollowed each other. So we'll see. I mean, that to me is somewhat of a sign, because when they were first, when their season aired, they were lovey-dovey. They were all on each other's Instagram. And so for them to unfollow seems to be saying something. I've heard different things, as far as it might be because she's holding fast to her celibacy rule. Different things that may be happening there. Don't know.
They got to do with Instagram.
As far as them breaking up.
Oh, that's why they broke up.
That may have broken up, right?
Gotcha.
We don't know. I just know, and let us know what you think, because it seemed their body chemistry, body language seemed a little off.
They played really well.
She did do some acting before. A little local place, from what I understand.
I don't know. So if they're not together, oh well. But I'm like, when I say success story, it's a continuous couple that are moving on. Absolutely. Really thinking about possibly marriage. Yeah. I mean, I guess everybody has their time limit on what that looks like to be a successful relationship. So. And
it very well could be that they were together during the taping of the casting special and have since, because I just think I saw within the last week or two that they were unfollowing each other. All right. So enough about them. Let's get into this new cast.
Yes.
We got 10 men, 10 women. And then Tommy is promising some really interesting surprises. I have some thoughts about it. I'll share that at the end.
Yep. So
all right. So let's first, we got Frank, who is 35 years old.
Yes.
He is a beverage company owner.
Yes.
He was in a 4.5-year relationship. Says he's ready to love.
I mean, nothing majorly sticks out to me. You remind me, he looks familiar, like from one of the other cast members from last time. You remember the one that...
Was it Brian that you think he was looking like?
Yeah. He was hooking up with... I can't remember right now. But I was just like, nothing sticks out currently for him to me.
Yeah.
He didn't show a lot of personality in his his
interview. It was the basic, I'm ready to love, I've been in relationships, it's time for me now to, what have you.
Right.
Now, the one that I think is already going to be, we're probably going to have a lot of conversations about this one, is Corey.
Yes. You want to read about Corey?
Yeah, so Corey is the body transformation expert. So he's a fitness guy.
Yes.
In shape, awesome. He says that he is 6 feet, has a six-pack, and makes six figures. Cool.
Nice for him.
He's 6'6". All right.
Mm-hmm. Right. So he's 6'6". Wow.
That's what he put out there.
He's been on 100 dates in 12 months.
Yeah.
And people ask him, how do you talk to these women for 100 dates in 12 months? Well, his formula is just the copy and paste.
So if you've been on Tinder or whatever, Bumble and some of those other dating apps, and you've been talking to Corey, just know that 150 other women also got that same initial thing from him.
Right. Because his goal was just to get you on the first date.
Right.
And believing because you saw him, then you would do a second date.
Right.
Not saying that taking the time to communicate and really be authentic on the communication would be enough.
Right.
But you felt like, oh, if they just see me.
Yeah.
They just see my six-pack. If I just tell them in person of my six figures, they're going to want to date me. So those are red flags right there already.
And is Corey the one that went on that crazy date? So, yeah.
No. Corey's the one who wanted to do a specific date and decided he'll do a whole production on Instagram of what the date was going to be. And that people just have different perspectives on dating.
Yeah. So Corey's, I think it ended with like a massage. So let us know, because this was what he said. I know we commented as Conversations with the Crawleys. So again, if you're on Instagram, we have an Instagram page, Conversations with the Crawleys. But we commented because he asked for feedback, right? And he put it out as a first date option.
Right. He's like, hey guys, don't you think this would be a great first date? So you're starting with like a walk and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're on a boat that takes you to a small island where
it's a little sandbar. It literally was a sandbar in the middle of Potomac or whatever, right?
And then he's giving you a massage on this island, as he called it, going by what he's called it, and all of a sudden you're in this island, secluded.
Yeah, because DC ain't got no islands.
No, they don't. And he's massaging you.
Yeah.
For a first date, my reply, this is creepy. To him, no, it's not the creepy. It's just a different person. But a lot of other people who commented felt the same way. It's a lot for a first date.
Right.
I don't know if you're a serial killer. Even though Black people are not normally typecast as serial killers, but your intentions are not always good.
If we're honest, in the video, I don't know if it's still out on his Instagram. In the video, she wasn't a melanated woman that he was having the first date with.
Hey, maybe it works for a certain type of woman, possibly.
But Becky
may
like that.
I don't know.
All right, enough about Corey.
Yeah.
We would probably be talking about him a lot.
Yeah, we'll see how well his dating skills will go. Maybe Corey will come on and share how he
Corey, if you're watching, come on. We'd love to have you on. We're going to do some interviews on this season. All right. Then we got Phil, who is a marketing and PR person.
Yes.
Definitely was thinking he would get married, and he was single for the last, 18 months?
Mm-hmm.
He also recently experienced his mom passing away in the last few years.
Yes.
Nothing major about him.
Major.
He did say something that to me is kind of becoming a pet peeve.
It's a pet peeve to you?
It's a pet peeve just because I think that we put people on a pedestal, and especially when it comes to relationships. And if nothing else, because remember we were talking about Will and Jada as relationship goals, and we see Will and Jada ain't relationship goals, at least not for us, right?
Well, I think because he mentions the Obamas,
right?
Right.
It must be Michelle and Barack.
Well, you have to think about it. For a Black community to have someone of that's the pillar of having to see your own representation.
Right.
So obviously, who doesn't want to be married to a Black woman who was just as successful as him, intelligent and smart? So I get the perspective on that.
Okay.
And so that's why people use that term, because it was like, oh, if I have to put this in words, this is what I'm looking for. So I get it,
I just want to be the Kevin and Tarsha.
Well, we have to be Kevin and Tasha.
Okay.
Because you don't know what Michelle had to put up or what
Barack got to put
up with. You trying to run the world and you got a Black woman in the White House. You have some difficult moments.
Right. So, just my pet peeve. All right. Then we got Shiloh, who is 33. One of the things she says that men are not open to communicating, and that's, I think communication works both ways, yes. Right? Her experience. She said that she was dating a guy for 6 months and then found out that he was married.
Yes. So that's not a communication. That's a lying
That's a deceptive. Yes.
Yeah. So it's not about him communicating that. That's about him lying about that. So there's a difference.
Right.
In being able to communicate and being a liar.
I'm sorry I didn't tell you that I got 15 kids by 13 different baby moms.
I'm sorry I didn't communicate to you
right.
I had 15 kids. No, you specifically said you were not married. And so you communicated well, right? But it was a lot.
Yeah. So. She does like the quiet confidence of guys. So she's not looking for the bold, bashful, out there typical alpha male guy who is just out there, right? And she's looking for a husband. She wants kind of laid back dudes, right?
Right.
Okay. And then Courtney. Courtney is 30. She has she dated a guy for 4 years and they ended up having a child.
Correct.
And of course, her perspective began to change because she's a mother now, right?
Right.
And I guess that caused some conflict and caused some disconnect with the father of her child, because he still, as she puts it, he still wanted 25-year-old fun Courtney.
Right.
And not 30-year-old mature Courtney.
I'm like, so if y'all going out together, who watching the kid? Like, is the problem that he wasn't doing? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Courtney likes older men.
So her being 30, I think she is the youngest young lady on the show. Yeah. And there are quite a few options for her if she likes older men.
Yeah, if she likes older men. You just have to be careful, because just because your age indicates you're old, sometimes men act their shoe size and not their age. So it's important not to gauge off her age.
You stole that from Prince, didn't you?
Hey, it still works today, because it's often true.
It is true. And I say this. Look,
I said often.
Listen, there's a difference between you can be a 50-year-old male and still be a boy.
Correct.
And you could be a 21-year-old male and be a full-grown man.
And
right?
Right.
So maturity is not found by the age that you are, but it comes from your character and how you handle things and respond to things.
Right.
So yeah, just because she's looking for older men, the one that might be right for her might be 2 years older than her.
Right. And she may have meant that.
Right.
But she ended up just saying she wanted an older man.
Yeah, she has a preference, and she wants an old man, old man. She wants an older guy to teach her some things. Hey. All right. Then we got Camille, who is 42. She is been an educator, right?
Correct.
And she says that she basically, they call her kind of a black widow. She has the habit of catching and then dismissing.
Yes, she's been engaged 3 times. So she talking about she got 3 Super Bowl rings, like she's in Brady's league. That's what she's trying to get off for those sports fans out there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm concerned that you had 3 attempts, and some of these women probably didn't, haven't gotten to the engaged stage. Ready to love, it seems like you don't have any problem being ready for love.
Right.
It's a problem, you need to be ready to
stay
keep
in love, right?
Right. Ready to keep them. Are you ready to keep them? you've been engaged 3 times, and none of these other women say they've been engaged. They've had children with men in long-term relationships. Some have made the real prize, right? Supposedly getting married, but you 3 times and no knockout.
Yeah. So once again,
and then you call yourself a black widow. Ooh, yeah. I won't put my own self in that terms.
Or I wouldn't tell folks that that's what people call me or refer to me as.
Yeah. Right? Especially if I was a man, I'd be like, that's a red flag for me.
Yeah. So she is one that I'm a little concerned about, just because I'm not sure that she's really ready, right?
Well, based off of what she said, because she even caged that she's not a mature teacher.
Right.
I said, what? You're not a mature teacher?
Yeah.
Your students won't consider you mature? I don't know if I want you around my kid. Right. I need you to be an adult and be mature around my child.
So we'll see about Camille. Right?
I'm just going off what she said.
Right. We can do at this point, because there's not a whole lot that's out there. But definitely stick around. Make sure you're subscribing, because once this show airs this coming week, we're going to be doing a lot of recaps and really digging into these folks as far as what we see. All right, then we got Cornelius, they always got to have what looks like now a country boy, right? So he is the resident country boy. He's 39-year-old, doing electrical engineering. And so he wants to date with purpose.
Correct. That's what he said. He wants to date with purpose, and the Holy Spirit's going to keep him.
Yes.
From listen. Is this on?
It's on. Go ahead.
It's on. The Holy Spirit is a helper, but the Holy Spirit is not the main thing that's going to keep your legs closed. So it says flee. So he better put some tennis shoes on is what he needs to do, and flee temptation.
Right.
So he's going to have to be intentional. Basically, what we're trying to say.
Because he's a guy who's saying he's back in church. He wants to be celibate. He wants to date.
And it's all great, and it's possible, but don't feel like it's going to be the Holy Spirit.
No, you got to make that decision for yourself.
You got to make the decision.
That's a whole other conversation.
And then the Holy Spirit will back up. He's the support, the helper.
He's the one that whispers in your ear, but you got to be listening.
He's the one that said, "Don't go for a house."
And that's your church lesson from the Crawleys for today. All right. We'll look at Cornelius, and then there's another one that wants to stay celibate. So,
yes.
Mumin, I think is how she pronounced her name. Yes. She is 36. She's a singer, songwriter. She says that she's rusty in dating.
Right.
So she probably hasn't been doing a lot of dating.
Sure.
But for her, spirituality is a huge deal as well, and she wants to stay celibate. She wants a man that goes for what he wants. So she's a young lady who is like, look, if you know what you want, shoot your shot.
Yeah, be assertive.
And so, that'll be one of the things, especially on this type of a show, is that there's going to be brothers that shoot their shot, but we've also seen some brothers that are a little overwhelmed and intimidated.
Right.
And they miss out because they don't shoot their shot. So
and they get off the show sooner.
Yes.
That's just kind of how it goes.
Yep.
So you better show all of it.
Yeah. And then you have Aisha, I think is how she pronounce it.
Yes.
All right, so she's 38. She was married for 11 years.
Correct.
So she actually pulled the trigger, got married.
She was divorced because her husband cheated.
Right.
Has 2 kids.
They've got kids, and she made the statement. She said, and I kind of chuckled when she said this, that dating pool has pee in it.
She said the dating pool has pee. The question is, who peed in it? Ooh. Who peed in it? Is the women peeing in it, or is the men peeing in it?
Or is everybody just peeing in it?
Is just everybody peeing in it?
Just everybody.
So that's my question. But she'll look your face if she really likes you. So.
No. See, listen.
I mean, that could go further on. Like once you further in the relationship, you look the face.
Okay, yes. But, so, here's the thing.
She was just trying to say, she really into you.
Gotcha, yes. But don't be looking faces too soon, right? Because then I'll be like, look.
Or everybody's face.
Right. If she start looking faces on this show, there's a problem. If she start looking all 10 brothers' faces, yeah. All right. And then Walter. Walter's 46 years old.
Yeah.
He calls himself a reformed thug.
I don't get that. I don't know what Walter did when he was younger, supposedly. I don't know.
We might get some backstory on Walter.
Right.
In fact, Walter, come on the show. Yeah. Let's talk about this reformed thug. We want to show us where the bodies are buried, because I don't believe you. All right, but he was married. Now what part of his thing is that he says that, you know what, he was out doing his thing.
Right. Have you and met his girl stayed with him, and then finally when she was going to give up, he put a ring on him. Right. Married her.
He was like, look, I don't want to lose her. I've got to make some adjustments in my life.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
But the sad part is that they got married. They were married for about a year and a half. And then were thinking about having kids.
They were trying to have kids, was the understanding.
And then it looks like she had ovarian cancer or a cyst, right?
Yes. That was very huge. Like the size of a grapefruit, as they indicated.
Had surgery to remove it, and then a week later died. So, passed away. So it, just as far as timeline, I don't know how long ago that was.
Right.
But looks like he is in a better place from it, just as far as his interview, right?
Yeah.
Seems like he's kind of maybe done the work to heal from that.
Well, yeah. I mean, everyone goes through grief, right? So I'm assuming so. But the question is for him, like, now that that's one person that was helped to get him to this place where he wanted to be committed and everything, and now he's ready to move on. You know, how's he going to take it when now you're inviting a new person? Yeah. You know, he doesn't have any kids.
Right.
Trying to rekindle or have a relationship now.
And so comparing that to last season when we had Joelle, who kind of apparently went through that same type of a thing, but had kids involved. This is a little different because there aren't any kids involved with this, right? So he's not looking for a mother to his children.
Correct.
So that kind of changes things. Then we got Zadia, who is 35. She is a big proponent of respecting her time.
Yes.
Don't waste her time.
Don't waste her time. Make sure you make an appointment.
Yes.
And I'm all about planning stuff.
Right.
But
there got to also be some room for spontaneity.
That's what I was thinking, especially when you're dating. Right. You want to see, you know, okay, is he listening to what I'm saying?
Right.
How's he showing that he's caring? You know, being real calculated. You could find someone like that.
True.
I mean, but if she likes that, hey, she don't need that, then.
But then that, in some respects, that may become it may become predictable, right?
But if that fits for her, if it works for her,
okay.
I mean, if she's saying that she wants someone just to have it planned out, and they like to be planned out, they plan out life together.
Now, this is my concern for her. She says that her love language is talking.
Yes.
That her family, and basically, they love like joning on each other, insulting each other, playing the dozens, whatever, kind of going back
and forth.
The problem with that, I think, is that if that's her love language in this environment, that may put her more into the friend zone very quickly.
Very good. Yes. And especially with her you have to schedule an appointment. How's she making time for the show?
Right.
And my question is, a lot of people say they want one thing, but then they really tend to want something else.
Right.
So I mean,
think we have fun. We'll joke with each other.
Oh yeah.
But that's not our love language. That's just how we've learned to grow and talk together.
Sometimes we could go too far. Yeah, then we have to back it up. Like, okay, we don't got to
pause, take a break.
That's enough.
Right. So yeah, I'm not too keen on her long term.
Yeah, she may not be on the show very long because you have to. I mean, people have to figure her out.
Right.
And this is not a type of show you got time to figure out.
You can't be so rigid.
Right.
On some things, right?
Right. So we'll see.
You have your standards, but there are some things you just can't be so rigid on, right? And then Sabrina, who is 45, she's got an 8-year-old daughter, and her baby dad, or not baby dad, but the father of her daughter, was married with kids.
Yes.
So that's another one.
Someone who says that they're single,
right?
And then you find out that they're married. And I've never experienced this, but I believe there has to be some type of red flag somewhere. Like, you can't go over his house. I mean, like, you try to call certain times or text him certain times. Is he not picking up? Right. I don't know how this dude got away with this.
Yeah.
For this long
and let us know. I mean, if you've ever experienced something like that, let us know. Because again, we've been married for over 25 years.
Yeah.
So we've been out of the dating game for a while. We have counseled people, what have you. So based upon our experience, based upon just how at some point, I think that there has to be some, unless they're just, some people are just really good at being deceptive.
Some are. Really good. I mean, they live different lives.
Right. They got one phone for this and another phone for that.
I mean, gotcha. Jesse Jackson did it. He had a whole house.
Got 2 phones.
So, hey, it's possible.
Speaking of having probably multiple phones, you got Dante. We got 3 kids and 3 different mothers of his kids.
And he leads with that. So I got 3. I have 3 baby mamas and 3 children.
And he's from Chicago. And being from Chicago, I'm gonna say he's from the West Side.
And at least he's honest about it. He, obviously he's not married, right? But at least he's honest in saying some people can deal with it and some people can't. Right. I'm like, how much money do you make? Because I'm thinking about child support. Yeah. I'm like, okay, obviously you didn't marry the woman, but I be calculating like we on a date. Who you ain't paying, right? In child support. And
we saw I think it was a season or 2 ago. We had the one guy who had 5 kids.
Yes, he was the guitar player. Yeah, he played in the band.
And yes. That did not work out well.
Right? No, he didn't stay long. Yeah, because again, he just don't want to end up.
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. In my opinion, it depends upon the dynamics with the mother of his kids. It depends on the dynamic with the kids. There's a lot of things that go into that. Not saying that it's not saying that it's a no completely out the box for him, but he's going to have some challenges, and I think he's aware of that.
Oh, he makes it pretty clear that some people can deal with it, some people don't. I was like, but the question is, with you being ready to love. Right. How well are you managing everything in your life to be able to sustain? And it's more about the children, long as the parent, they can co-parent. Mm-hmm. Well, so.
We'll see. All right. Then Carrington, who his last relationship was 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. So he's definitely been out of the game for a while. He's got a daughter. And he says he prefers an alpha female. Yeah. So that's going to limit, as far as, in my opinion, his opportunity, because most of the women there are saying they like a man who takes charge. There's only a couple that are like, look, I want the laid back brother, what have you. And then, there's something about him going to White House dinners, what have you. So I don't know if he's a former CIA agent or what.
No. He's into beverage and entertainment or something.
So he probably catered it or served at it.
It's possible.
All right. So we'll see about him. Not a whole lot really to go on from him. Tyrone, 44, former military.
Yeah. So he's right. He went to the military right out of high school. Mm-hmm. He seems a little odd to me.
And I'm gonna just say he's my pick for probably being one of the first ones to go home.
It's very possible that he'll be the first one to go home. I mean, and his mother seemed to bring men over to the house while he was a child.
So, yeah, he kind of basically was like, he thought things were good with his parents.
Mama was a Rolling Stone.
And then he looked back and was like, wait, all these guys keep showing up to my house.
And they ain't my uncle. Did my daddy have
Why I got 15 uncles, but my daddy ain't got no brothers? So he's like, Mama was out there.
Yeah, and so now he feels that he's overcome trust issues with women, that they're going to cheat. Right. I mean, that would make sense. That's Absolutely. All you saw is your mother and men coming in and out your home, mm-hmm. and mom still being married. Mm-hmm. So I get that. Obviously, that's a big hurdle to kind of go over. But at least he's been in some relationships, I guess, and mm-hmm. now he says he's ready for love. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if he makes it through most of it. I mean, he has a secure job, being in the military,
Got pension, sure, whatever.
Right, different stuff. So the question is he really ready to love?
And again, he's my choice for of the people that will go home that first night. I think he's a lock. That's just my opinion. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, in that group dynamic. Yeah. I mean, being in the military, yes, you meet a lot of people. You have to kind of like be a chameleon. Right. But when you're talking about this is about finding a mate and a relationship issue, there could be a lot of sharks, and he might be a guppy.
Yeah. Ooh, good analogy. There we go. All right. Then you got Lamont, who is 44, and he's got a day job, but he loves to do spoken word.
Yes.
He was married at 22.
He was married at 22, which, I mean, again, typically you can see people get married in their 20s, which is nothing, there's not a problem with that. The problem is, how do you manage and continue to have your marriage grow?
Right.
And keep that commitment.
Right.
So it looks like now he's ready, because before, when he did meet people, once he became single, he felt like they could have been a good match for him, but he wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready. You know, she cheated on him. So he realized now that he may have passed over some possibilities.
Yes.
That he now may be ready to love, but he could have actually been ready to love before if he had gotten the healing done.
Right.
All right. And then Carrie is 38. She was married at 21. So a couple of folks, again, that have been married young, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
But let me know this, because for me, she looked different in almost every scene that they had for her.
Yeah, I mean,
she had the braids, she had the straight hair,
and it wasn't just the hair; it was just like the complexion seemed to change a little bit. So,
which might make it might make, because then she keeps it fresh.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with keeping it fresh, but I always get concerned when I don't like when I see pictures of myself and it may show variations of me that, if I'm smiling, I feel like all the variations of me smiling should be the same. Not me smiling and I'm Coco, and then I'm smiling and I'm light skinned, and I'm smiling and I'm dark.
And it could be that the way that they just edited it would have
the lighting.
But it literally, for me, it was just like, wait, this looked like they threw in a couple of different people in her montage.
Yeah. And she was only married a couple of months. So now she says she feels like she's ready to love. Hey, we don't know that much else about her. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. And then Liba, yes. 44. She was married, but they were living in separate rooms.
So I guess they were separated. That's how I took it, that they were separated, but they had to share the same home for a while. I mean, separating finances and living in DC, it's not cheap.
No.
We lived in Maryland for a while, so Laurel, but it wasn't cheap at all trying to live out there. So I get if they had to kind of, work their way out and understand that. Yeah. But she says she has personality,
but no booty.
But
she likes getting smacked on the booty in the kitchen.
Well, hey, at least he liking what she's trying to say. He likes what she has, what she had, but she feels like she's in competition.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned about that. Anytime a woman feels like they're in competition with other women for men, it is alarming, because then you're more focused on what other women are doing than you focusing on the relationship you're in. You're always comparing yourself to other women.
Absolutely.
And my understanding is men find that as a turn off. So this might not be a good situation for her to be in.
Yeah,
if it's more about winning, than finding something.
Because that's what we've seen in previous seasons of Ready to Love. We've seen folks on both sides that have come in treating this like a game show, to compete against, right? And that's not the premise of this. That's not helpful in this.
I don't think so. When you're saying that you want to find a long-term relationship. Or just in life, period, because then you're always worried, well, I need to get the latest look that I see other women comparing, or that put yourself, that you start doing stuff to your body, like there's a lot of bad booty jobs. I'm serious. I mean, these put women in positions where they end up hurting themselves.
Yes.
Because what she's saying is that I'm not self-confident in who I am and what I bring to the table.
Right.
Because if you love me for who I am, there is not going to be anyone that you're going to put your eyes on that's going to compare to me.
But yeah, so we'll see about her. And then Naeem, who is 40. His last relationship was almost a year ago.
Yes.
Or last almost year, I should say.
Yeah.
And she was military.
Yeah.
And then was kind of like, this is great and all, but I'm shipping out.
Right. Anytime you date someone in the military, you have to assume that they're going to leave at any moment. And my understanding, he had just got started in that relationship.
Right.
Like, they were only a couple months in, and she was like, well, this is going to be my last month. Make it good. Shoot.
Make it last forever. Ever. All right.
But he likes natural hair.
He likes natural.
He likes Caribbean women.
Yes.
So, and so he gives the impression of being very Afrocentric, as they call it. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see how it goes, because I saw a lot of weed flying around those interviews.
Because he said basically he wants the natural, not Optimus Prime.
Yes.
So, and here's the thing, because that I think most men, now I appreciate when there is, as far as makeup is, if it's enhancing, what have you, but if it completely changes and I don't know who I'm dealing with, not for me. Some men may be okay with that, right? And he's basically like, I prefer, what I get from him is he's like, if you have natural beauty, I'm appreciative of that. Right. If your beauty is put on, and that's the only way that you're looking attractive,
right,
or that's, it completely changes who you are when I see you,
right,
it's not for him, right? And then you have, as last one, you have Ticia.
Yes.
Who is 33 years old. She calls herself basically the girl next door plus the trophy wife.
I don't know what that means. So.
Her type is medium ugly.
I have never heard of this. I have never heard of medium ugly. I can make my assumptions of what she's trying to say about that. I don't know if she's talking about the average guy, whatever. But whoever these medium uglies are, they didn't even ask her to marry. I'm concerned. If medium ugly, if I'm putting this in negative terms, as she's...
Because she's like, not the Denzels, not the this, not the that, right? So basically what she's saying is, she's not looking for the super attractive guys, right? That's what she's saying.
A model,
what have you. She wants the guys who are kind of like the leftovers in some respects, is what I get from what she's saying. She wants the medium ugly guys, not the Biz Marquis, if you will, or the Flavor Flavs. But
okay, medium. Now medium. That may be considered raw, right. Rare.
I don't know. Listen, but she's saying, look, she wants the medium uglies. They not ugly. They just not top notch, right? Because dating her is an experience, and her theory behind it is that those are the guys that appreciate who she is and will drink her bath water, which I ain't drinking.
Dirty bath water.
I ain't drinking nobody's bath water.
Dirty bath water.
And will never leave her, what have you. But as she says, her exes are still calling her. So if that's the case,
why are you single? If they're calling you, then what's the issue there? Because if medium ugly don't want you, I wouldn't even put that in my interview. If medium ugly don't want you, there's a problem.
According to how she puts it. According to what she's saying.
I'm going by her. She's making these statements because we got one lady who's the Black Widow. She getting engagement rings.
Yeah.
This young lady never said she's been engaged with medium ugly.
Right.
So why am I going to go with medium ugly if they're not getting me an engagement ring? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll
see who she picks here.
Right.
So this is going to be the catcher. When she decides to look at these 10 guys, is she indicating the one she's focused on that's medium ugly? Then we're going to have to change these terms.
That's a good question.
And I'm not saying that they, again, it's based on your personality and your type.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying all of them are knocked down, gorgeous black men. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, they're not all bad looking, so I'm like, what's medium ugly out of these 10?
Right.
You might not be like, oh, these are too good. Oh, these are gorgeous.
On both sides, you have attractive people.
Right.
Not everyone may be everyone's cup of tea, right?
Right.
There are some some on the female side that I'm like, not really my style.
Right.
But I can see, someone may be attracted to that or interest, right? So it'd be interesting for some of these people that are making all these big deal breakers, if you will,
right,
and what they want and what they're going for, see how that works out in these dynamics. And then Tommy keeps hinting at, and we saw in the kind of the super trailer for the season, that he's doing something again that's never been done before. So last season, he brought KG back from the third season.
Right.
So we'll see what it is. I have a guess. I have a thought that it could be bringing back two people from previous seasons into the Ready to Love universe or situation, right?
That's the universe.
I have a feeling, this is just me, this isn't me looking at blogs or anything of that nature. I have a feeling it could be, just as I'm thinking of who might be a fit to do something like this. I think it was Jay, and I forget the other young lady. Jay and Joy.
Yeah.
From the Houston resort season.
Yeah.
Because they left a little abruptly because Joy's sister passed away.
Correct.
And then Jay left to kind of go help console her. So that is my speculation that they could be a couple that we might see re-enter the house, or it could be just completely different, completely random.
Yeah.
Two other people that they just decided last minute to bring in. So we'll see. It's again going to be making for a great season, it looks like. So make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button, because you want to be here for every time we go live, every time we do an interview, every time we do a recap for this season, in addition to all the other stuff we do on this here channel. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, KT Squad, listen, we appreciate you all stopping by. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and meet us in the comments. Let us know what you thought. If there's some things that you know as far as these ready to lovers.
Ready to lovers.
And what's going to happen this season. All right, we'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.